Good day, time for another video. In this video we're gonna show some death metal and black metal and some new releases from this year and older stuff. Here we go. First up we have this is The Funeral Pyre by Swedish band Kvaen, released through Black Lion Records. I'm not sure when it was released. According to Discogs, it will be released next week, but I got my copy 2 weeks ago. Anyway, Kvaen was formed in 2018 by guitarist and vocalist Jakob Björnfot, and as I understand it, he's the sole member, but he uses a lot of guest musicians on this record. There are 4 different drummers and some guest guitarists, and 2 guest vocalists, although Björnfot does the majority of the singing himself. In its essence, this record contains melodic black metal with its roots coming from the second wave Scandinavian black metal, but with some hints of first wave black metal and Creator and stuff, also their early thrash bands. And the tempo shifts from slow to very fast with emphasis on the latter, and there are very nice melodies and great riffing. Some guitar solos that it sounds like something that would fit on a speed or power metal record, but it's very nicely done and fits very well in Kvaen's music also. And the production is very clean without sounding too polished. And in total it's 8 tracks, and they all have their own identity, but I think my favorites are Jinaldoshi and Revenge by Fire. And it's a nice package digipack. Get a booklet with lyrics, and it will also be released on vinyl in the near future. It's highly recommended if you like melodic black metal. Here's a snippet. Next up we have some more Swedish metal. This is Still Hating Life by Grave. Grave is considered one of the bigger names in old school Swedish death metal along with Entombed and Dismember. And they were formed back in '88 on the Swedish island of Gotland, later moving to Stockholm, and released 4 records in the 90s. And for some reason I never got around listening to them properly, but still haven't listened to any of their records except this one. And I picked up this for cheap, and it was a blind buy. I just recognized the band name, and this is their 4th full-length, released in '96 through Century Media. And it did not sound anything like I thought. I was expecting some kind of Dismember-esque death metal, but Still Hating Life is basically a better Pantera with Sunlight studio production. I'm not a big fan of Pantera. They have a couple of good tracks like Fucking Hostile, Kybos from Hell, Domination, Great Sun, Tranquil and Becoming. But if you imagine Walk, but slightly higher tempo and HM2 pedal, this is pretty much it. I kind of like it, but I'm not so sure that the tracks could hold their own without the beefy guitar sound, which is excellent. And if you're new to Grave, I would suggest skipping this one and instead going for the first or even their latest, Out of Respect for the Dead from 2015. But if you like Pantera, on the other hand, this could be a nice addition. And my version is an original from '96. It's a little worn, but still sounds pretty good. And the cassette looks like this. And the insert like this. Here's a snippet. Continuing on with some death metal, this is Graves of the Archangels by the band Dead Congregation, their debut full-length released in 2008 through Nuclear War Now Productions and on cassette in 2011 through Nuclear Winter Records, the band's own label. And this was the first release I bought and heard by the band, and I actually thought this was a release by Mournful Congregation and just added it because it was cheap when I ordered some other stuff, but boy was I wrong. This is fantastic death metal filled with heavy riffs, death doom passages, orthodox choir passages, and the best drumming sound I probably heard on a death metal record. You can clearly hear him assaulting the kit, and the kick drum does not say tick 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 but it's powerful, like it should be. And I must admit that I had never really listened to Incantation, but I would say that Dead Congregation operates in the same waters as Incantation, but better, with more intensity, and had some disembowelment passages in the mix. It contains 9 tracks and has a running time of close to 44 minutes. And the first track, Martyr Doom, is like a mixture of an intro and a real song and builds up a really nice setting before all hell breaks loose on Hostis Humani Generis. One of the absolute coolest things in the end is in the end of the record, where it's an all-out assault that slowly fades before going quiet, and some type of chanting takes over, and then there's a church bells ringing, ding, ding, before the sonic assault suddenly reappears out of nowhere and you are floored once again. I don't think the record could have ended any better. The cassette looks like this, and the J card like this. And if you like extreme metal, and particularly death metal, you need to check this shit out, because it's glorious. Here's a snippet. Next up we have Promulgation of the Fall by Dead Congregation, released in 2014 through Martyr Doom Productions, Norma Evangelium Diaboli, Profound Lore, and on cassette by Iron Bonehead in 2016. And this is the band's second full length, and in between this and the debut, the band also released a split with Hate Spawn in 2008. And Promulgation of the Fall contains 8 tracks and has a running time of 40 minutes. And there's not that big of a difference between this and the debut, but this is a little more stripped down. The choirs and ambient stuff are gone, but everything else, from the riffing, fantastic drumming and production, is still present. And there's really not much more to say, but if you only have the means to check out one Dead Congregation full length, I would go for the debut, because it's slightly, but just slightly better. And I bought a tape used, and I'm not sure if it's the wear and tear or what's going on, but the volume is a little bit up and down at times, which is a little bit frustrating. The tape looks like this, and the cassette has an outer sleeve. And the J card looks like this. Here's a snippet. Next up in the Dead Congregation collection, we have their latest release, Somber Doom. It's an 2-track EP that was released in 2016. It clocks in at close to 14 minutes. Not much has changed. It's still very good. Both songs are excellent. And the record looks like this. It's out in a single jacket, and you have the lyrics on the backside. You get a big poster also. Last week I got my hands on Purifying Consecrated Ground, the band's debut EP. It was released in 2005 by Conqueror Records and Nuclear Winter Records. And in all honesty, the tape is 15 years old and I bought it used, so the sound quality is not the best, but it's a nice EP and a little more chaotic than their later stuff. But it's interesting to hear what the band came from, and where they started out. And it contains 5 tracks with a running time of 20 minutes. And the tape itself is unmarked, or how you say it, and the J card looks like this. It's a printed hand number, and I have copy number 116. And Here's a snippet, hoping the band would release a new record in 2020 since it's the time it took between the other full-lengths. Staying in Greece, we have some black metal from Athens. This is Exitium by the band Hor. Hor is a duo that was formed in 2017, and this is their debut full-length, and it was released in late 2019 through Sanit Mills Records, Metal Throne Productions and Immortal Ruins recordings. And the band plays fast-paced lo-fi black metal with a lot of focus on atmosphere. And Exitium contains 4 tracks, with the shortest being 6.5 minutes long. And all 4 tracks and the exclusive cassette bonus track Womb of Chaos are very, very good. But my favorite is the closer, Exitium Part 1, Mourning for the Sun, Part 2, Conquering Chaos. There's some occasional big band drumming, or something like a war drum that sounds really cool that pops up in a couple of tracks. Very good stuff. And the tape looks like this, and the J-card like this. It's highly recommended if you like raw, fast-paced black metal. Here's a snippet. And for the last record we move back to Sweden. This is Damnation by Vananidr. It was released by Purity Through Fire in January this year. And Vananidr was formed in 2010 under the name of Synodus Horrenda and changed their name to its current in 2018. And the mastermind behind the band is Anders Eriksson, and according to Metal Archives, the band now consists of an additional guitarist and the drummer Fredrik Andersson, famous from Amon Amarth and a Canorus Quintet, while Eriksson does everything else. And Damnation is the band's 3rd full-length in as many years, but apparently most of the songs were written during a 10-year period, thus the tempo of the releases will probably slow down in the future. Anyway, Vananidr plays the same kind of Scandinavian 90s black metal like Kvaen, but a little less melodic. And if you like one of the bands, I would assume you would like the other also. And I have not heard any of the band's previous releases, but according to one review I read, Damnation builds upon Road North from 2019, but is more refined and trimmed down. And in total, the record contains 7 tracks and has a running time of 47 minutes. Each song is well written, and you could say there are 2 kinds of tracks, either fast-paced all the way or mid-paced all the way, except for the track Reflection, which shifts tempo from mid-paced to fast halfway through. And all in all, it's very good, but in the beginning there is a nice ebb and flow with fast-paced and slower tempo, but starting with track 4, Tides of Blood, and for a continued 15 minutes there's not a single blast beat, which derails the nice ebb and flow the band had going. And it's housed in a single jacket. You get a lyric insert, and apparently it was released in 300 copies, where 100 was on gold and 200 on black vinyl, and I picked up the black. That was it for today's video, running off with a snippet from Damnation. Thanks for watching, bye.